but so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars.
You are watching the Big Dog Postgame Show, brought to you by Viner Fourgates and the Big Dog himself, Rick Jacklich, at the Jacklich Law Group. Good evening from College Park, Maryland 76, the number 17 Wisconsin Badgers 68. Hey, College Park was rocking tonight. One of those games that felt like old times. And throughout the game, sort of felt like this was going to be a grinder, a first to 60, and then Maryland, including Rodney Rice, just walked by, started making the baskets that eluded them earlier in the evening, and they roared to the finish. Wisconsin can't catch up. Great night for Maryland basketball. Hopefully the rankings in your regular polls will catch up to the rankings in the online polls that the NCAA uses and the rest of those rankings. Terps looked the part. 3 wins in a row. You could do it on the road, and now you come back and you do it at home. Fantastic work. Bruce and Mason, along with James Gist, all away from the camera tonight. This is the Big Dog Postgame Show. I'm Wayne. We're going to take a look at the stats. Then we're going to hear from Bruce live from the studio, and we'll be back in College Park to wrap this up. Overall, your scoreboard, Reese has 14 and 7. Early on, ball did not get inside. It was a lot of three-point shooting for the Terps. Later on, the rhythm picks up. Derek Queen only goes 3 of 14 from the floor. He looked out of place a couple times, might not have been in the right spot on the floor with the ball, but he still gets 12 points, 12 big rebounds.
67-58 Maryland. Must be running the clock, 7 to shoot off to Queen on the side. He recaptures, goes to the lane, flips it up.
Rodney Rice continues the hot shooting. I was talking with Jeff Baxter during the game. Jeff Baxter knows Rodney's father. He was instrumental in getting him here to College Park. And you start to look at a guy that could score at an elite level, 16 points. Again, he looked really good. Good shooting percentage. Selton Miguel, when they needed him early, started to hit those threes. And then you saw DHS come in for defense. He changes the game because he stops Tanjay. So again, we talked about this before. In my opinion, you got a guy that looks like a linebacker safety that's chasing around to score, and all the energy is there to stop him from getting the right spot on the floor. It's not just after he gets the ball, it's while your shooter's hunting for his spot on the floor. DHS cuts him off time and again, and it warms my heart. He hits a 3 right behind me when Maryland needed that. Gillespie looked a little off. He had a lot of shots that faded to the left. The three-pointer wasn't there. Tough night from the floor for him. I believe he was 4 of 13, but effective when they needed him, and certainly he gets the ball when Maryland needs to run that clock down. He gets 14. Gapari plays a lot of minutes, pulls down a few rebounds, gets 3 points, but keeps the bigs fresh. Overall, you gotta like what's going on here in College Park. There's a little bit of rumbling whether this was going in the right direction. It's going in the right direction now. It's gonna take a while. This is not a finished product yet. It's still January. This team hopefully will peak when you get to March. Tons of game notes. One of the things that was evident in press row up close to the court is Wisconsin continued to force contact as they drove to the basket. They're reaching out, pushing against the Maryland players. It got out of control a little bit. The refs needed to control that a little bit better. Whiskey tried to make this a real grinding game. Maryland's speed and outside shooting sort of broke that up. So, without further ado, let's throw it to Bruce Posner in the studio, and then we'll be back here on the court in a moment.
All right, Wayne, great job over at the arena. Listen, great win for Maryland. Third straight quad one. All right, victory, this time over number 17 team. Mike DeCourcy had us number 7 going into this game. Although the rankings didn't show it, which upset me a little bit. But it was about the 3 tonight. Jacoby Gillespie, 3 for 9, but not bad. Rodney Rice, 3 for 6. Miguel Selton Miguel, 4 for 8. And 4 for 5, rather. 12 for 24 over. Terps were up by 1 at halftime, and they kind of pulled away with about 10 minutes to go. Never to be caught, just hitting their foul shots left and right. They wound up 16 and 21 from the free throw line. Wisconsin was 15 for 21, whereas they came into the game at 90%. So they missed some. Stephen Crowell, as usual, only had 10 points. Now, John Tomjay, all right, had 23 for Wisconsin. This is a good team. John Blackwell, 10. But the Terps were just better tonight. All right, they really were. Deshaun Harris Smith, let's see what he scored. He only scored 3 points on a tray, 4 rebounds. Derek Queen, 12 rebounds. Julian Reese, 6. Terps got out-rebounded 39-38. But overall, they outplayed them by hitting the threes, hitting all the foul shots down the wire. And listen, it was a great win. The Terps now go to 7-4. Who would have thought when we were 1-3, we'd be at 7-4, 17-5 overall. And they're probably going to drop a little bit more. Now, we don't play again till next week against Ohio State. So you got a week off. All right, and we'll see what the rankings. If they're not ranked on Monday, I won't believe it. I'll be honest with you. But a sold-out house, great crowd. Here we go. It's good to be a winner again. Back to you, Wayne.
So Terp fans, if your family's injured in a car crash, you'd be barking mad not to call Rick and the Big Dogs at the Jack Litch Law Group at 855-BIG-DOG-1.
But as you know, Coach, it's not the last win, it's the next win that's so important. And that's why we continue to hustle, continue to work so hard for all of our clients to earn that name, the big dogs from the small firm. Just like you do. You get your guys hustling all the time.
That's why we love you, Rick.
And most of all,
Go Terps!
As hard as it is to believe, Maryland still wins this game, 76-68. I'm Wayne. Thanks to Bruce. And, of course, thanks to the big dog, Rick Jacklich. And probably for the last time on this air, we're going to say thanks to Viner Fourgates. In a few days, Viner Fourgates becomes Viner X. It's a Viner experience with enhanced capabilities. A tech program that started in Maryland, a tech company that started here, now in 22 states, plus the District of Columbia. And of course, that's our and my hometown IT team. Viner X debuts February 1st. Check them out. Think of the crowd tonight. This is the first time the students have been back, and they certainly knew who you were.
Yeah, I mean they were engaged. They gave the guys, some energy, and I mean it was a cool environment to be in, and I wish we could have silenced them.
So where do you go from here? You have the weekend off. In fact, it's lacrosse time. Maryland-Richmond over at the CQ Stadium on Saturday. Lacrosse season starts. All the way till next Thursday, when Maryland has Ohio State, and then the schedule picks back up as Rutgers rolls in here in February. So there's a little bit of time to fine-tune what you saw on the court. What would you like to see better? As a basketball fan who thinks they know what's going on, I'd like to see a more consistent approach to getting the ball into the post. They got guys who can do it. So you get Derek Queen, Gapare, still young guys, having a little bit of issue playing with their back to the basket. We're going to see that develop. With Juju is actually becoming a star. This is somebody who was the National Player of the Week and can score now. There was questions before where he touched the ball around the painted area, if the ball was going in the basket. Now he's catching the ball, so that issue seems to have gone away. His shooting efficiency's gone up. He's getting offensive rebounds, and he's somebody you have to guard. You really have to focus on keeping the ball away from him. He can go toe-to-toe with any big in the country right now. Let's see how that develops as the season goes on. When Maryland wasn't playing as well as they could, there was an early, like at 16-20 in the first half. Willard goes to the bench. He puts Jay Young in. He changes the defense up a little bit, and that has an effect. It's nice to see a change of pace guard. Gillespie doesn't have to play 40 minutes. Jay Young's handling himself pretty well. In fact, he blocked a shot at the other end of the court. So defense is there. He can make a couple threes. But going back to where I was a few moments ago, DHS, if you can get real minutes out of what was your number one recruit last year, you start to see some hope. You saw him go flying off the baseline, the other end of the court, sort of like a guy trying to recover a fumble to break up a play. That type of effort becomes contagious. He raises the defensive temperature here in College Park, and when you go on the road, you're going to need that. So the fact that Maryland won 2 road games, to me, is a bit of a surprise. It just wasn't going well on the road. Hopefully, we have hit that part of the season where this team does look like it's going to gel. It's going to be a little time off. They're going to go to Ohio State. And as Bruce is going to tell you, because of the way Maryland beat Ohio State here, Ohio State's going to be super pumped to get a shot at Maryland. But that's next week. For right now, for this week, we'll take the win. We're going to smile. And we will see you at CQ Stadium at noon as Richmond comes in to kick off the 2025 lacrosse season. I'm Wayne. For Bruce Posner, Mason Viner, James Gist, Jeff Baxter, and the entire TerpTalk crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Saturday. You see the Terps working their way through the crowd here, celebrating as they take down number 17, Wisconsin. Usually don't see this one, but Terps head into the crowd and then down the tunnel. Great night for Maryland basketball, a 76-68 win. We'll be down on the court in a moment.